Board, I'd like a motion to rescind approval for the use of academic standards titled Social Justice Standards, the Teaching Tolerance of Anti-Bias Framework as published by Teaching Tolerance, a project of the Southern Poverty Law Center, and any curricula developed using said standard effective July 1st, 2024.
I'd like to amend this motion to keep the Black History and Black Literature courses while a new Black History and Black Literature curriculum is being rewritten to the board's majority standards.
Did I get this right? You'd like to amend the motion to add keeping the Black History, Black Literature courses until new ones can be created.
Correct.
I'll second that.
Maybe the language needs to be a little modified. Discussion board?
We have a curriculum committee. I would love to know if this was brought forward to the curriculum committee and what their input was on this. And I would also love to hear from Superintendent Ken Rumpus what he feels is if this is something that we need to move forward with for our district. Obviously, this was a pretty hot topic. It was added to the agenda last night at 6:30 or whatever time it was added. Nobody has had a chance to look at this. I want to know if our administration had a time to look at this. When were you guys informed that this was coming forward? Because if we're not informed, I can't imagine that you would have been either.
The administration works for the board, not the other way around.
We have a curriculum committee for a reason. Was this brought up? And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Director Cook, you're part of that committee. Did you have this discussion with the curriculum committee?
There's a committee titled Academic Advisory, and then there's a subcommittee that looks at curriculum. And no, it was not discussed, either one of those recently.
Then why do we have the committee?
Well, the committee, I suppose I'd have to direct you to the written purpose of it, but generally it addresses new curriculum.
Doesn't it also deal with making changes to curriculum?
Actually, the curriculum committee and the academic advisory committee both report to the board and serve for the board, not the other way around. I understand that they can be an integral part of developing and or approving curriculum. However, the board retains the right to make decisions without them.
How is that collaborative? I thought that that's what we do here. We work together as a team. We put ourselves on these committees so that we can work with our people to develop what people think is our teachers who work so hard to develop this stuff. Why aren't we considering what they have to say if we're not even addressing it to the curriculum? Then why don't we, as a board, why don't we just start writing all the curriculum? I'm not an educator. I couldn't write curriculum if I wanted to. And I understand that we're an oversight board, that we have to approve some of the curriculums that come forward. I don't see how we can just come through and just make changes at will.
To take this to a curriculum committee would not sway my vote. The committee would vote, if they voted not to go forward with the motion that we have here tonight, I would not be swayed on this item. I value the curriculum committee on certainly a lot of things, but on this item, my mind is made up already. It's been made up for 2 years. So wasting everyone's time in committee would be a waste of their time, because the board, I don't think, will be swayed by any opinion of the committee.
I understand. I'm not here to sway your vote. I'm here to ask why we're doing this now, before we go on Christmas break, 24 hours before. If this was so important, why wasn't this brought up sooner to the curriculum committee so that our administrators, our teachers, our students have a chance to look at this and decide what's best for them?
So I can speak a little bit to how it came about. Director Cook kind of brought it forward to me. I wanted to make sure I ran it by Dr. Rampas, and within that conversation, we talked about, do we postpone it to January? And then we discussed that by the time our meeting happens, enrollment happens on the 15th, and the potential disruption that would cause it, based on the vote or the outcome of this vote, and decided to go ahead and bring it forward tonight to try to prevent that disruption to scheduling and.
I understand that part, that we have open enrollment starting in January, but we also have kids that don't register school until February or whatever. I think that our public and our community and our staff and the people that have worked so hard on this deserves we need to hear what they have to say. I would like to at least include other people in this decision. We're not being inclusive at all.
It was one of my concerns about the timing of everything, which is why I wanted to talk with Dr. Rumpus. At the end of the day, it's the board's responsibility to dictate curriculum and make that judgment call. We take the advice, but at the end of the day, we are responsible for it.
It's always been under the recommendation from our superintendent, from our director. Why do we pay our superintendent and our chief academic officer that kind of money when we're going through and telling them what they can and can't do, when none of us have that experience? Are we telling them we don't trust what they're saying? We don't trust what Dr. Rumpus and Dr. Buckman are doing because now we have to go in and say they can't use these standards because it's against what somebody else feels?
My amendment, this was put on about, I guess, 5:45. I didn't even see it till somebody told me about it. So I rushed home today and was trying to think of things. So I get it. You have the votes to get rid of it. But me jotting down this at least keeps it in place instead of voting tonight to say that they're not going to have anything. So this gives you the opportunity to rewrite it. Or whatever part of it you don't like, or whatever, have it. Because the motion as it sits, and you have it, if it passes as written, come January 18th, a student will not have Black history and Black literature to choose from in their in the course catalog, correct?
Just a point, or it's actually next year.
Next
Right.
year.
Yeah, so we have plenty of,
No impact for this year.
we have plenty of time to develop a new curriculum for next year.
So, but my amendment would have the current one stay in place until that one's in place, instead of just getting rid of it. We'd still have that until that point in time.
We have from now until next September to develop a new curriculum.
Well, I think we need to talk to Dr. Buckman about how long that would take if we take Jen's route.
Yeah, I would just offer that course registration starts January 15th. If you vote to remove the standards and we remove the curriculum tonight, we would remove those two courses from the course enrollment guide because essentially we have no board-approved curriculum for those two courses. And we won't put a course in the course enrollment guide if we don't have a board-approved curriculum for it. So when students go to register for their courses, they wouldn't be able to choose those two courses for next school year.
Right.
So if we were to pull a team together or come up with an option for those courses for next school year, and if the board were to approve that course before the school year started, we would have no students enrolled in those courses to run them. So even if we were to get something put in place before the first day of school, there would be no students enrolled in the courses. This school year, we have about 100 students between the two. So I think we have about 60 kids in the Black History course and about 40 kids in the Black Literature course.
I'm trying to figure out exactly what we're voting on here because I'm seeing.
Voting to amend the motion here. This is what discussion on now is, should we amend the main motion and then after that, then we'll discuss the main motion.
So, and then the book that I borrowed from you that I'm reading, what part of this curriculum standard are we talking about here? What book was what part of the curriculum am I reading? I don't know, it's a history book of maybe it's the Black literature or Black history course itself that I'm reading.
I apologize, I'm not sure what book you have.
Your homework.
Point of
I
order.
am doing my homework. That's why I'm reading the book that we're talking about.
Point of order.
It is the Black History textbook, Mr.
So that's part, and then the second class would be a writing course.
The second class is an English-based class, the Black Literature course.
I just like to say that once again, the committees and the superintendent and administration work for the board, and the board has the final decision to say.
So right now we have a motion on the table to amend the motion to include keeping the Black History and Black Literature courses until new ones are developed.
President Bertrand,
No.
Vice President Cook,
No.
Director Ponder,
No.
Director Stiglich,
Yes.
Director Harmon,
No.
Director Lang,
Yes.
Director Pushkar.
No.
Go back to the main motion to rescind approval of the use of the academic standards. Any additional discussion, board? Seeing no additional discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no.
No.
Absolute no.
No, or ayes have it.
What a dark day.
Next we have